Here in the UK, it's just about coming into blackberry season, which means this little beauty, the Bramble Cocktail, starts to come back in fashion again. Now this cocktail is a funny one because it actually doesn't really die off that much because it is actually super delicious. For a non-gin lover, I really do love this cocktail. But obviously, because blackberries are fresh and in season, the cocktail, it sells, how can we put it? It sells even more than it would do throughout the spring and summer. Now this cocktail is actually one of the 3 that I teach on my cocktail masterclasses, unless, you know, the group sort of swap it out, which is very, very rarely. In fact, half the time I don't let them, because more often than not, this is the favourite cocktail out of the 3 that we make. Now, part of that reason is because this would have been the 3rd cocktail and they would have already had 2 cocktails before that. The other part of the reason is that when I do this, because of the brand I use, which is Whitley Neal here in the UK, I do actually carry 10 to 12 different flavours of gin. So the group, traditionally hen parties, get a massive choice of gin, which of course elevates the cocktail for them in their eyes. Now that right there is the easiest way to riff up this Bramble cocktail. Just swap out to a flavoured gin. I'm not talking about a different gin with different botanicals, like a Juniper forward gin with different botanicals. I'm actually talking about a flavoured gin. That is a great way to riff this cocktail up. But today, I'm actually going to go one step further. I'm going to show you a few other ways that you can riff this up and put your own stamp on the Bramble and make your Bramble cocktail shine over all your competition. So first up, let's make the classic Bramble, and it's so easy. It's 4 ingredients. We're going for your gin of choice. Now, for me as a traditionalist, I just say, look, a really decent Juniper forward gin. You don't need to worry about all the other botanicals that you've got in there, because with the blackberry notes, the chances are they're not really going to shine through. So you just want a Juniper forward gin. And then I've got my long life shelf stable 100% lemon juice from ODK. We've got some sugar syrups, got like 2-to-1 syrup, and I've got my Blackberry Liqueur creme de mule. So you want a 50ml double bubble of your gin, 25ml of lemon juice, 12.5 to 15ml of sugar syrup. Double strain that over crushed ice, and I'm straining into my Modern America rocks glass. Then you simply want 12.5 to 15ml of creme de mule drizzled over the top. Now I'm just going to garnish it with 2 of these freeze-dried blackberries from Frona. And then that is goddamn delicious. Gin lover or not, you cannot not like that cocktail. Fresh blackberry berry notes coming off there. For a non-gin lover, the Juniper really does work well with that blackberry. That's just delicious. But there is a quicker way to make it with a simple 3 ingredient hack. This time we're simply going to swap out our sugar syrup and our creme de mule for 15ml of blackberry syrup. So you want a 50ml double bubble of your favourite gin, 25ml of lemon juice, and 12.5 to 15ml of the blackberry syrup. And this time I'm single straining into my Endeavour glass, complete with crushed ice. Now, is there a difference between the 2? I would say yes, actually. The creme de mule with the alcohol actually does punch through quite a lot. Now, this is an interesting concept because I actually don't want that any sweeter. The sweetness level is there for me with the syrup, the blackberry syrup. However, the blackberry levels aren't. And I think that's why I'm a traditionalist. I think that is a great little hack. You know, instead of 4 ingredients, 3 ingredients. I don't think upping it, for me personally, upping it to 20ml works, because that then becomes too sweet. So I would actually stick with the traditional, use sugar syrup, and then just drizzle the creme de mule over the top. Or of course, whack all 4 ingredients in the cocktail shaker and shake it, and then a single strainer. Now the first riff is oh so simple. We're going to take that classic Bramble recipe, those 4 ingredients that I've just shown you, and add some Stilla Bunt honey bitters. For me in this cocktail, I am actually going for 10 drops, which would be roughly at list price about 15p in your cocktail. And if you're telling me you can't add on an extra 50, maybe £1 for a honey Bramble, there's something's going wrong somewhere with your cocktail menu. So 50ml double bubble of your favourite gin, 25ml of lemon juice, 12.5 to 15ml of sugar syrup, 10 drops of the honey bitters, and just for speed, I'm going to shake down the blackberry liqueur as well. So 15ml of that. And then simply single strain all that, and I'm going into my new era double old fashioned glass. Then of course going to garnish with 2 dried blackberries from Frona. Now does 10 simple drops of that honey bitters change that cocktail? Absolutely. And I promise you, I'm not exaggerating, that completely transforms it. These bitters, I love doing these bitters because at face value, yes, they are a little bit expensive, but they go so much further, therefore makes it so much cheaper than your average brand of bitters. You know, yes, there's no alcohol in them to keep them like super long life, like 2-3 years. They do give you 12 months, but you should be able to get through 200 to 300 cocktails of these in a year because they just transform it. It's 8 to 10 drops. 10 drops is my sweet spot when you've got really flavor forward cocktails like this. But oh my God, that honey just sings through. 13, 15p, even less if you've got a trade account with Drinkstuff. And this is the thing I want to emphasize. This is not like a sales pitch, if you like. Yes, you know, if you read the description, you'll kind of see how these videos are now positioned from me with Drinkstuff. But this is my way of doing cocktails, because if I'd used honey syrup in there or honey, you would have altered the balance of the cocktail because you've got an extra sweetness. So therefore you might have to go extra lime or extra lemon, sorry, or just play about. Whereas bitters like these, all these flavors, I'm not even sure that I want to really call them bitters. I want to call them like flavor enhancers because they're just superb. 8 to 10 drops, all of that. You know, yuzu would have been fantastic in there. The tiki bitters would have been fantastic in there. Orange maybe even worked in there. Tonka bean. There's so many different things, so many different ways that you could have riffed that bramble up just with 8 drops. I promise you, the honey notes really sing out. I'm thinking ginger now as well in there. Now, I'll be honest, the whole reason I was thinking ginger is because I knew this was coming up for my second riff. Now, technically, I would call this a Bramble Collins. And there are so many different ways that you could go with this. The Collins is basically your gin, lemon, sugar, and soda water. The Bramble Collins, obviously, you've got your creme de mure in there, your blackberry flavour in there. Now, Franklin's and Sons, I flipping adore the Franklin's and Sons range. The sodas, and there's kind of 3, maybe 4 in this range. You've got the pineapple and almond with, I forget what the other ingredient is now. You've got the guava and lime with the hint of ginger in there. And you've got this, the mandarin and ginger. So 50ml double bubble of your favourite Juniper forward gin, 25ml of lemon juice. You can cut this one back if you want. I'm going to say 10 to 15ml of sugar syrup, and then keep this as 15ml of your creme de mure blackberry liqueur. Then my glass of choice this time is the Modern America from Artis, and this is their highball, and I think it's about 35 CL, 350ml. And you just want about 100ml, maybe touch more, or it's up to you, of your favourite soda water. Then I do love a good old sprig of mint with highballs like this, and then I've got my dried blackberries from Frona. Bramble Collins done. Honestly, so you've now got that lovely, refreshing Bramble cocktail, but combined with that orangey, gingery soda, that just works so well. You could, go, of course, go plain soda, turn that into a long drink, and just a standard Bramble Collins. That's enough to stand out on a cocktail menu because no one else will be doing a Bramble Collins. But to take that a next step, that stage further, like an orange and ginger Bramble Collins, or however you want to name it, that just gives you one up on your competition. That is flipping tasty. I love this. Then the final riff, I actually came up with this about 6, 8, probably even longer ago, months ago, when I was like firmly in rum. I found that the Goldstone lime and ginger rum worked exceptionally well in the Bramble, but I'm going to take this in a slightly different direction, as you can see with the foamers, and I'm also going to serve it up slightly differently too. So this time 50ml double bubble of the Goldstone lime and ginger rum. Now look, quick thought, I know a lot of you are probably not going to buy this rum or even have access to this rum. An alternative, if you wanted to go down that route, yes, you could do like rum, a squeeze of lime, maybe a little hint of ginger bitters, that sort of thing. Or Bounty, I've got a couple of their rums up here. Bounty do a lime rum as well. But for me, you know, support local, support British, you know, down in Sussex, I think it's a fantastic rum. And as I've said time and time again, it's a toss up between that and actually the dark rum, which is my favourite out of Goldstone. I flipping love that. Real limes, real ginger gone into distilling that. 25ml of lime juice. I'm just going to do 10ml this time of sugar syrup. 15ml of creme de mure blackberry liqueur. Then I'm going to do 8 drops of the Stillabunt Magic Velvet Foamers. And then to serve this up, honestly, I'm not a typical wine glass person. But this is the Experts range, and there's nothing special about them. I'm sorry, artists. I mean, you know, I mean this in love. There's nothing special with them. But for some reason, I just really love that smaller white wine glass. It's the Experts range, the smaller. I think any smaller white wine glass. There's just something about it that I personally prefer drinking out of instead of like a martini glass or a coupe glass. I get a couple of chunks of ice in there, which you wouldn't do in a martini or a coupe glass. I don't know, it's just me. I kind of like these. Then we're just going to single strain that into the glass. I've just whacked another ice cube in there just to kind of fill the glass out a little bit more. Nice sprig of mint, and then a couple of my Frona blackberries. And there you go. I guarantee it, none of your competition is serving a Bramble up like that. You've got that frothy layer, which completely changes it up. And all right, the crushed ice has melted now a little bit, but completely changes it up from those style of drinks. You're in a wine glass, which is completely different. And I've got the rum. You could do that with gin. Of course you could. That little bit of foam. I do it in Cosmopolitans all the time. I put a little layer of foam on Cosmos just to make them look different, because that's my way of working. But that, you know, it's a delicious, delicious Bramble. And you whack that on a cocktail menu. You put that through a bar on a tray for table service. That's going to turn heads, and people are going to be like, oh, what's that? I want one of those. So there we go. Look, there was 5 Brambles there that I guarantee it. Well, at least 3 of which I guarantee your competition, the bar down the road, is not serving. These will just make you stand out. I flipping love the honey variation, the first kind of variation that I did. I really love that. But you know what? I'd bang out those highballs. I would absolutely. I still think that looks the best by a million miles. I love the kind of foamers that go on top there. If you've got any Bramble suggestions, whether you would maybe go down a brandy route even, or, you know, different rum, an agricole rum or something like that. An agricole rum really does work well. Then let us know in the comments below. If you serve a Bramble on your cocktail menu, do you serve it up traditionally, or do you put a little twist on it as well? Let us know. Let's help each other here, because I guarantee the bar down the road is not watching this video. I guarantee it. So if you're watching it, you'll be the only one. So how do you stand out from the crowd? How do you make more money this autumn? I'd probably go the honey one, if I'm being honest. I think that's the honey one. I completely forgotten. Anyway, cheers. I'll see you in the next video.